Happy Sunday, everybody. It is America's Supermom, and I am on here really quickly for our theme of the week, which is strategy. Okay. So, strategy is what we're going to be talking about. I just set my timer for 20 minutes. Going to start off with a scripture Proverbs 2, verse 6, and it says, For the Lord gives wisdom, and from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. This is a good one. So it's God that gives knowledge and understanding and wisdom, right? So that means it comes exactly from his mouth. So if we're listening to other people, what they have to say about certain things, then we may be listening to the wrong people if we want to know what it is that God says, right? So I want to say, hey, Jonathan, how you doing? So we want to make sure that we're talking to the right person, right? So when it comes to overwhelm, I thought this would be a good scripture for today because it's Sunday. Most people worship the Lord on a Sunday. We want to hear from him. It's a spiritual day. So you can't hear from him if you're not praying and reading that word, right? So we have to actually hear his words. And that's one of the things that we do directly with him and his word, the Bible. Okay. So he says he's splendid. I love that. What a nice, happy, upbeat word, splendid. Most people are like, I'm good, I'm fine. I love that. Splendid. Okay. So I have 7 days that I'm going to post of strategy. So just like different things that we could think about in our business, I'm going to post that in the comments later. I was going to try to prep this little PDF and whatever. I'm going to get it done, y'all. Okay. Because I'm saying it. So it's going to be done. But it gives you an idea. You can extrapolate that over 30 days. But the point is, when you have a strategy, it's actually a game plan, right? So if you know anything about sports, you have to have a play that you're going to take part in with your other teammates when you get on the court or on the field or whatever. So this is the same thing with strategy. Strategy is going a little bit deeper with some work that we need to be doing, right? And I thought this would be a good thing to talk about because a lot of people, hey Rick, a lot of people have their own businesses and they talk about all the things they offer, but they are not making any money sometimes, right? We're doing a lot of stuff for free and we want to help people, we want to add value, we want to give whatever, the thing with Gary V, you're gonna give, and then do a right hook, which is when you're gonna ask or give a call to action. But the thing about it is, you think about it. If you're going to the grocery store, it's a pandemic. A lot of people are feeling sentimental. They want to help people. You can't go to the clerk with a sad puppy dog face talking about it's a pandemic and expect to get your groceries for free, right? So this is how we have to be mindful of our occupations, the jobs that we provide, and the services that we provide. They have value, right? Now, there are things that you could work out with people, but a lot of us just want to throw our hands up and just offer stuff for free. And it just doesn't work like that, right? One of the ways that we equate value when it comes to being an enterprise is through the transfer of funds or goods or services. So we have to be thinking about this during this time that there could be payment arrangements you can make. There are other services that you could provide that might give an added benefit for somebody who is maybe stretching out, going a little above and beyond to use your services. And so you could give them other benefits. But to just give stuff away for free, I don't think that's always the best thing to do. Okay. So everybody has their own way of kind of working through that, but it really makes it hard for you to get the job done that you want to get done, right? So it's like you enjoy your craft, but if you're doing it and not getting anything in return because the time that you spend doing other things for other people is taken away from your household, from your relationships and things like that. So you got to figure out there's got to be some kind of trade and what's in it for you. Okay. Um, Want to remind everybody in the morning I have office hours at 7:30. So 7:30 to 8:30 are my office hours. And what I usually do at office hours is I have a question that we kind of dive into. So we probably will be talking about something with strategy. How do you set up your strategy for the week, the month, or year? Or, we just kind of dive into that topic. And so we do this thing so that everybody can start the week off strong and do the things that they need to, because when it comes to having your own business, um, a lot of times we get into the glory of having the business, but we forget about the income producing activities. So we're networking, we're answering emails, we're doing all this other stuff. But at the end of the week, we're wondering when the next check is going to come in, right? So this happens with a lot of small business owners. And it's one of those ways to always make sure that you have multiple streams of income. If you have multiple streams of income, then you can kind of go back and forth with different things. He says it's way too early. See, that's another thing. If you're a business owner, I only do it one day a week, Jonathan. I am up early though, because this is the time that I have quietness. My kids are asleep. I get half my day done by the time they get up in the morning. And so the rest of the day, I'm doing meetings or Zoom calls and things like that. So I get a lot of my work done in the morning. The only thing about Mondays is this is the day that I have my office hours. So I have to make sure that I'm ready for the camera because it is a Zoom call. It's not a Facebook Live. We actually interact and everything. So it makes it kind of fun. But yeah, it's a lot for me to do in the morning. Um, so that's the thing. So we're going to be planning and we're going to be doing strategy in the morning. And I think it's important to think about when you have these office hours or opportunities to interact with other people, it is like a mastermind. So many creative ideas come from getting together with people, maybe at different times you normally wouldn't meet. I know, Jonathan, the last time you and I were talking with Melanie, I think we were on the phone for like an hour and a half. I had walked and come back. It was the day that I got my book in the mail. But we had just did a lot of brainstorming, conversing, and it was an impromptu type of meeting. And these things can really generate creativity when you're doing things that is outside of what you normally do. So sometimes doing things a little different, you just never know what you might end up creating. So that's one of the things that we're doing with that. Um, and so I'll be putting the Zoom link for that. And then usually I announce that in the morning, but it's just an hour, right? But in the meantime, if you have any questions about strategy, so maybe you're like Jonathan, you're like, hey, I just can't get up at 7:30 in the morning. That's too early for me. Then go ahead and put your questions in there. What are some questions that you have about strategy? What is your strategy? So we've got Jonathan on and Rick. Jonathan has his 9 essential post social media strategy, right? So that helps him with his content throughout the week. But what other strategies do you have? So he says he also does his work between 10 and 1. So these are some things that you need to ask yourself. Um, what are, some ways that you handle your business? How do you strategically follow up with leads? How do you follow up with your clients? After you provide a service, do you have a follow up for, them to give you a testimonial or a review or something like that? Ways to kind of add other things to the sale, so to speak. So if they're purchasing something from you, like, Jonathan has courses. So if they get one course, do you have an automatic system to where it emails them for the next course or some feedback or something like that? So anything that might pertain to strategy, feel free to put it in the comments. And this is something that we can all learn from, because the whole thing about strategy is to prepare that ahead of time so that you don't have to think about it, right? So a lot of people, we sit here, we waste so much time on the computer. And so then at the end of the time, we're like, man, I didn't even get anything done. But if you have a strategy, so it's like, okay, I'm going to reach out to 5 people today. Um, After I reach out to those 5 people, I'm going to follow up with 5 people. But the more you reverse engineer that, where you say, this is what I'm going to follow up and say. These people were on my podcast. So I'm going to send them a letter of thanks and I'm going to see if they want to come back on or whatever. So the more you have it systematized, then it's just like you go through your checklist and on your calendar and you can just get it done so that this way your time is more productive. Okay, so Rick is saying way too often do we forget about income streams. Too often do we give away our services for free in hopes of an automatic return. This is so true. You know what? There's a thing in the Bible that says you reap what you sow. So if you're reaping free services, that's what you're going to sow, free services. You're going to give stuff away, and people are going to always expect to get stuff from you for free, right? There's nothing but free stuff that you're going to be planting. That's all people are going to see you for. That's the kind of energy that you're putting out there when you do things for free. So you want to kind of come up. One of the things I say about Jonathan that he's done good is he has his office hours. He sends you an invitation. You can go in the Zoom room or you can watch him Facebook Live, but he has learned to kind of back away from a lot of those free activities because it will suck up your time. You're feeling good because you're giving out information, but you have to find a way that if you're going to do some things for free and people get used to that, that it ends up being a group thing that you do where you could do it for an hour, and you could service 6 people. It could be content on your Facebook group or your personal page, but then you're done, right? And if they have any questions, then that's an opportunity for you to direct message them, follow up, and then boom, close them in a program. So see, that's the difference. But a lot of times we go through just, oh, I want to help this person. When somebody introduce you, you just have to, this is a perfect way for you to get an automatic calendar. So if somebody's doing an introduction, we've got Calendly that's free. There's I think Acuity, some of these other calendar links. So you need to generate a certain day. So maybe if somebody is a lead or an introduction, you set up a certain day that they can, or a certain time in the day, where you just do those calls and it's automatically set up. So it's like, oh, nice to meet you. Here's my link. Then when you call them, hey, this is what I require if you're interested in this program. But first, you want to find out, if you're a good fit. This is another thing. Everybody that is introduced to you, they may not resonate with you. You may not resonate with them, right? So it's always good to kind of get a call in, see where they're headed, what it is that they want, because you may decide, hey, I just don't want to do that. It's going to take too much time. And, they're not in a position, maybe they're a new business and they really can't afford your services to be done right. And so that might be something that you could just give to somebody else. So Jonathan's saying having a strategic communication plan is essential for success in business. Automation and live combos. So true. And one of the things that I learned, I was listening to a podcast the other day, is making your own introduction YouTube video or a Facebook Live or something. So if you have a group and you do like a little video and it's as an announcement, welcome to the group. This is really what this group is about. This is what we're promoting. You could also take that video and send that to people. So like, when people do introductions, send that introduction like right before you're going to get on a call. Because I know for me, I do a lot of Zoom calls with people and they want to connect. So the person suggested maybe like 10 minutes before the call, send them that quick video. And then that way they know a little bit more about you, right? This way you don't have to feel like you have to pitch them, about anything. It just kind of tells a little bit about your services, what value you give to your audience, and then have a notebook and a pen ready. So even though it may be tempting to let them know about yourself, who you are, but write down some questions that you think you need to have answered. And this will direct you when you're having that conversation. Hey, Melanie. So we're just talking about strategy, Melanie. So we're talking about how we can strategically set up our week so that we can move forward with a lot of income producing activities more so than busy work of, we both are podcasters. So maybe we're like, oh, I'm just going to edit this and do this. But if it's not generating any income, do we really want to spend half the day editing if we're at the end of the week going to need some income coming in for that? So that's just something that we want to be mindful of. I encourage you guys to reach out to one another. So Melanie, Jonathan is just a great person with social media. So I encourage you guys to link up. Jonathan, Melanie has a podcast, Everyday Leaders. And so you could give her some good insight on social media, some tips for small business people. So you'd be a great guest on her podcast. So I encourage you two to reach out to one another. But this is how it's done, really networking. I did a post the other day about a mastermind that I was in with Sharon Lecter. And for those of you who may not know her, she worked with the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Okay. And so she really created an empire with that. She helped with that. She works with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And it is just a blessing to be able to connect with people virtually. So I just did a quick post that snapped a picture of us in our class and how they were on StreamYard, and I made a comment. They posted the comment and they were commenting on what I posted and engaging. So this is how networking takes place. So just because we're in this type of setting doesn't mean that we can't network, right? Okay, so he has this Calendly link on. See? So this is how you do it. You think about it. We're talking about it. Why not be about it? Some people get intimidated by that, but I'm like, look, if you're in the midst of doing some work, why not do everything at one time? Why go back later on? The moment's gone. That we have so many tools at our fingertips. Why are we waiting and putting stuff off? Because you'll forget. You can get off your Facebook Live, you get a phone call or somebody else posts, and then you're down a rabbit hole doing something else. So we just want to give Jonathan a shout out for getting right on it and putting his Calendly link up. But Calendly is free. So this is when they do have a paid version. But this is another thing. Look into researching some different resources that you can use for free so that you can explore different avenues. So like maybe you haven't done a lot of consultation calls, but you want to start. Maybe you have different parts of your business that you want to start doing consultations for. So you can get a free link for that. And that's something that you could schedule while you're doing your other stuff. So maybe you want to explore podcasting, for example, but you're a coach. So you want to keep podcasting separate. So you're going to set up a podcasting calendar link for that and just focus on 1 or 2 days a week. So you see where I'm going with this. So we want to think about how we can strategically move forward and continue to explore our different business options without having the headache of thinking, oh, I have to pay for this or I have to pay for that. There are lots of resources that you can use for free to fully explore if you want to go down that road or not. So I know for me with podcasts, I started with Anchor. It's free, right? So it has generated its own activity. It runs by itself. And matter of fact, I think I've had everybody who's on this live has been on my podcast except for Rick. I don't know. I sent him an invite. I think he's avoiding me, but anyway, I have had everybody on, and it just kind of took a life of its own, right? And I think the reason why is, how you like start stuff and then you get stressed out because it's like, oh, I have this bill that's going to be coming. Well, one of the things that I have learned to do, just with all the things that I do, is explore the free options. And then I have the creative ability to do it as I want to without that pressure of having a bill that I have to pay. And then if I decide this is something that I want to do, then I start investing in it. So I hope that makes sense for everybody. So that's a part of my strategy. I have learned that there's a lot of things that look shiny, they look good, other people are doing them, but if it's not going to pay for itself, then I'm not doing it, right? So I learned to just explore things that are free, see if I like it, have that creativity to do that. And then as it perpetuates on its own, then I begin to invest in it. So I hope that makes sense for everybody. Well, for those of you that will be up in the morning at 7:30, I encourage you to join me for office hours. I will put the link in the comments, and that is going to be a Zoom call. So if you don't want to have your camera on, you're fine. I'll have mine on because I know it could be early. But in the meantime, if you're watching this replay, if you have any questions on strategy, ways that you can move forward, in terms of this week or this month, because we're in a new month. It's August 2nd. How do you want the end of August to look? Sometimes we have a good, big aerial view of something, but that's too big. We get overwhelmed. So maybe your view should just be this week. Where do you want to be on Friday? How many clients do you want to have? How many new leads do you want to have? How many presentations are you going to give? Let's just have a real small view that we can kind of see that we can manipulate on our own that makes it a little bit easier. And I really encourage people to kind of start doing this because, as we're dealing with this pandemic, a lot of us are overwhelmed to the point to where things that we normally could do before this pandemic we just can't do in the same amount of time, and that's okay. You might have other responsibilities that take priority, and so you don't have the free time that you used to have doing your business. I know for me, I used to have almost 6 to 7 hours a day while my kids were at school, and now I don't have that. I have to really strategically plan out my day in pockets of time, when they are not up. So that would require me to go to bed earlier so I can get up, get a lot of my work done in the morning before they get up so that I can be available for them throughout the rest of the day. Okay. So have a great night and awesome time at your office hours. I will. So again, I want to thank you guys for joining me. And I encourage you guys, if you're watching this replay, those that are engaging, reach out to them because these are people that I know personally. I have see them at least once a week interacting with them face to face through a Zoom call. So I encourage you to reach out and get some insight from them. Okay. Schedule a Zoom call so you can begin to support one another. Right now, we're in some uncertain times still, so you want to be able to move forward in a positive way. So that's all I have for this evening. Remember, let's strategize for the week, and I will see you in the morning for those that will be up at 7:30. Talk to you later. Bye.